Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those that are new, welcome back. My name is Nellian, and this is gonna be pretty much one of the many videos that I got to come. This is just about my BBL journey, so let's get started. So as you may have seen on my videos, my previous videos, if you haven't, so do see those before you watch this one. If not, you're just gonna be, you're not gonna be understanding what I'm trying to say. But for those of you that have been watching all of my videos, you know that I have been going through a very frustrating journey when it comes to my BBL. The reason why is because, of course, I have gotten canceled twice by the doctor. The first time was because supposedly he had an emergency. The second time was because supposedly my nicotine and my drug test were for marijuana were positive, which was false. So, and then I had to come on today, Monday, again at 11:30. I had my pre-op appointment with Dr. Harry because I ended up having to switch doctors. So I just wanted to come out here real quick and tell you guys about that little update that I had with Dr. Harry. Excuse my mess. Guys, I didn't bring clothes to, look cute. I didn't even bring my makeup bag. I didn't bring anything. So I just came here for a BBL and to go home. And it's just been a lot longer than what I had to be. From a whole week to have to stay in Miami, I ended up having to stay 2 weeks. So more money to spend. But anyways, so as you seen on the last video, I was a little upset because I ended up having to change with Dr. Harry. Of course, my mindset has changed today. I'm so happy that I did make the choice to change my doctor to Dr. Harry, because guys, when it comes to New Life, the whole building and all the staffs, yes, there are staffs that are very friendly. They are amazing. They were very helpful, very informative. But the part where they are really just failing at is communication. They will tell you something over the phone as soon as you make your your deposit. Everything that they tell you on the phone is usually not the truth once you get there. When it comes to communication, I feel like they don't have communication within themselves. How are they going to have it with their patients? Like that day that Dr. Durante ended up trying to cancel on me because he didn't find my negative as a negative. He thought it was too faint for him to consider it a negative. That day it was just very hectic, but that day there was only one person that was helping me, and was the anesthesia nurse, which was wonderful, guys. Like, she is wonderful. She was very helpful. She tried to help me in many ways and try to get Dr. Durante and convince Dr. Durante that it was a negative. I mean, she even pissed on the test just to look at the differences and everything. I mean, she went above and beyond. She's one of the people that I absolutely loved in that place. There's also I forgot her name, guys, but she's this tall little, she's this tall girl, kind of tall. Well, she's taller than me. I'm only 5'4", guys. So she has a cute little curly blonde hair, and she's the one that takes care of your signing in when you go to pre-op. She was absolutely amazing as well. She was very helpful as well. As far as everybody else, I did not like. The reason why I did not like is because not only do they suck at communicating with you, they give this horrible little attitudes that make you feel not welcome. And I don't know if it was on purpose or whatever. I do know that they're very hectic, and I know that once you're in a hectic place, you work in a hectic place, it's a little bit more difficult to give your full attention to everybody. But it does not give you an excuse to be rude. I worked at an airport pretty much almost like 5 years, the whole time that I was in Puerto Rico, and when I came over here as a flight attendant. I know what hectic is. And even though it was hectic, I always took a time to be polite and make everybody feel welcome and comfortable. Not only on the flight, but when they were checking in to put in the bags, when they were boarding the planes, etc. So I don't find that as an excuse just because you're hectic and you got a lot going on that you have the right to be rude to people. The manager, she was a sweetheart when she was trying to explain to me why the first time that I got canceled, why it was canceled, and that she would put me the next day with Dr. Durante or whatever. She was very nice at that point, but today when I went for my pre-op, I wanted to pull her apart to talk to her privately about what had happened on Saturday with Dr. Durante. And she kept, going around, going back and forth. And even though she told me, yeah, I'll be right back, but she was still going back and forth, doing this and that. And I guess she's a manager. I know she's busy, but, I ended up being patient. In this whole process, guy, I have not once gotten angry at them. Well, I've been angry, but I just haven't showed it to them. I didn't yell at them like most of the girls did, because I've seen quite a few cases already where there's some dolls that end up being very, 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 very angry, end up yelling at the people there and etc. I don't feel like that's necessary to get your point across. I don't think you should be yelling in order to get your point across, or be aggressive in order to get your point across. That's just gonna worsen things up, guys. So that's something you need to keep in mind. As long as you're patient and you're polite, you're gonna be good. They're gonna try to help you as much as possible, at least in my case. But when I did ended up trying to get her on private, she put me up into the office. She didn't let me talk, guys. Like, what's the point of me telling you I need to talk to you in private and you're not gonna let me talk? She put me in the room and she was like, yes, how can I help you? And I already know about your case, so you don't need to tell me about your case. I'm like, so you know about my case, or do you know only what they have told you? Because they could have told you that it was a positive and that's it, and that's a reason. But you don't know my side of the story and why I'm feeling like I'm being discriminated, I'm being judged. And not only that, but I don't feel welcomed here. Like, I'm really, really starting to regret giving my money to New Life. That's exactly what I told her. And then we'll see how it goes. If I like Harry, then awesome. But it sucks that I have to feel like this, and I constantly keep having to feel like this, because it's not like, oh, it's just $5. No, it was $5,000 plus more, because if you count all of the stuff for recovery, the Airbnb, the minivan, everything that keeps getting even more delayed, and I keep having to pay more, it's a lot more money coming out of my pocket. Thank God that I had a good saving account in case of an emergency, case something like this happened. But anyways, point is that I was trying to talk to her and telling her about how I felt, and she didn't let me talk, guys. She was just, I know about your case, blah blah blah, and she didn't let me put a word. And she's like, so how can I help you? I'm like, okay, so I know that Dr. Harry's a lot cheaper than Dr. Durante from what I've seen on Instagram. She's like, let me stop you there. You're incorrect. I felt rude just for her saying, stop there. Like, don't do that. I'm being polite to you. I'm being nice to you. I'm respecting you. Why are you being disrespectful to me? There's no point on all that. But point is, she ended up being like, no. Where did you see that? It was probably a patient, right? Patients tend to be wrong pretty much all the time. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, no, I seen it on 2 of the pages on Instagram on New Life. She's like, no, I don't believe you. Our system is down, so I cannot check for you. But I don't think so. I mean, if it doesn't go by me, then no, it's false what you're saying. And like, then you need to get in communication with your staff members, because obviously that's what you guys are failing at. She's like, no, sweetie, you know what? We're done talking here. Let me see what I could do for you. But yeah, you're not gonna be able to do anything. I'm like, you haven't even let me tell you what I want. Like, she's like, okay, well, what is it that you want? I'm like, I don't want my money back. She's like, anyways, we couldn't give you your money back. I'm like, I'm not trying to get my money back. All I want is for you to tell me that same money that I was giving towards Durante, I know Harry's cheaper, so I don't want my money as long as he can do the cell saver on my surgery. For you guys or girls that don't, I know I say guys a lot. I'm sorry, it's just a habit. Even though I know there's a lot of ladies that don't like when that happens, but whatever, it's a habit. Just like it's a habit, but whatever. A cell saver is this machine that pretty much, for you guys that have seen the way that they do like the actual BBL surgery, there's videos out there where they have like this, you can see when they're like sucking out the fat, and then it goes into like this thing, this like bowl thing that's closed up, and usually the fat is up and down. It looks like what is blood and the liquids that they're injecting you. That once they're ready to transfer that fat into you, they separate the fat from that blood and that liquid. That blood and that liquid, they put it into the cell saver machine, which what it does, it filtrates all of those the liquid that they put in there, and they pretty much separate the liquids that they injected in you from your blood, and they put it back in you, and they try to save as much of your blood as possible, so it pretty much helps you have a more speedy and better recovery. Thank God that thing turned off. It helps you have a better and speedy recovery. So instead of having 3 or 4 or 5 days in order to feel better, some girls and guys end up feeling a lot better the next day. So sorry, the BBL's New Life just texted me. I'll answer it in a little bit. So that's pretty much what it is. It just filtrates the blood and tries to inject it in you, so it can help you have a better, speedier recovery. And not only that, but it also, you have a lesser chance of having to get a blood transfusion from losing so much blood. So yeah, that's what it is, and I wanted it. So I found out that he did it. So I'm like, okay, well, I want that. I'm like, just take the $5,000 and just, for all these complications that you guys have made me go through, I just want you to help me out with that instead of charging me an extra $500 that I don't have. So she was like, nope, I can't do that. I'm like, but why not? You guys are making me go through all this stress and having to change doctors, staying longer, spending more money. Why not? She said, that's not my responsibility, sweetie. I'm the manager and everything like that, but I'm sorry. If you want the cell saver, you're going to have to pay an extra $500. I'm like, thanks for your help. So she just left, and I ended up having to wait. Then, like 10 minutes after I spoke with her, a nurse called me and 2 other girls back to speak with Dr. Harry. Now also, this is one of the things that really pissed me off. As soon as we got there, me and my fiance, we got there to New Life to park. There's this older guy that parks the cars for you because their parking is so small for how much people they have in that building. Keep in mind that that same parking is for both employees and patients. So the old guy sees us and he's like, hey, how'd the surgery go? I'm like, yeah, I got canceled twice. And he's like, oh, so you're the one that they're talking about that you tested positive for the nicotine. I was like, how is it that I signed a HIPAA or whatever that's called paper stating that nobody could talk about my problems and health conditions and everything else to anybody else, but even the parking guy knows that my surgery got canceled due to my nicotine and THC test being supposedly positive? That's just very, very unprofessional to me. And I'm like, if he knows, everybody knows, and God knows if there's dolls out there that already know my story. So I found that very unprofessional. But he also made me feel good before I went up, because he's like, yeah, it's a good thing. Like, he's like, what doctor did they change you to? I'm like, Dr. Harry. He's like, oh, you're good. I mean, to tell you the truth, Jorente does an amazing work. Don't get me wrong, but he's an asshole. I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, he's an asshole. He's a very difficult guy to work with. I'm like, okay. He's like, but Dr. Harry, on the other hand, he's a sweetheart. I'm like, well, we'll go ahead and see about that. So when I went up, whatever, the nurse called me back to speak with Dr. Harry. There was a girl out there that went before. There was 2 girls before me. They went in. When I was about to go in, he had to take an emergency call real quick. So I was like, yeah, fine, So I ended up waiting in the office for him. And when he came in, he was so nice, guys. When I tell you, as soon as he came into the office to speak with me, he instantly brought happiness to me. So he sat down, he started asking me questions, like, do I have asthma? I told him yes, that I've had asthma, but I haven't had any attacks for a long time. He asked me some other questions, and then he asked me, what was it that he had said? Oh, he stated if I smoke. I told him I don't smoke cigarettes, but I do smoke weed. I've been smoking weed for quite a while. So he was like, okay. He's like, okay. I'm like, but I stopped cigarettes like 2 years ago. He's like, you stopped? I'm like, I was a heavy smoker, and I stopped 2 years ago. And he was like, really? I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, okay. he gave me a high five. He's like, good for you, girl, good. That's very unhealthy habit and bad habit. I'm like, I know. I only did it because I was going through a lot. I was very depressed. It was something that bad friends of mine got me into, but I'm good now. And he's like, okay. So he ended up, okay, so come here, walk around, let me see what I'm working with. So he lifted my shirt up, he touched my stomach, and he'll be like, oh yeah, we're good. And he asked me, he kept asking me if I had surgery before, because he thinks that I've already had surgery before, like liposuction, that I have my breasts done, because I have nice breasts. I think I have nice breasts. And he then seen my booty, because on one of my videos, I believe is the one where I said only an hour till surgery. On that one I show my before and I show my body. And on the video you cannot, I feel like in the video I look flatter than what I really am, because I actually do have some volume to me, it's like, let me see if I can stand up here real quick. See, I have a little bit of volume. It's not much, but it's there. So he kept asking me if I had a surgery. I'm like, no. He's like, oh, then you're gonna be great. He's like, but are you gonna use the cell saver? I'm like, well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, because I really want to, but the manager doesn't want to do it. Like, I went through this whole process with Durant. He canceled on me twice, and I had to change doctor just because he's too strict. I don't like that, and I don't like how rude he is. And he's like, don't worry, I got you. He's like, okay, and then I showed him some pictures of, something that I want to kind of look like. And he told me, he was like, okay, fine. You want to look like that? I'm like, yeah, I want to look like that. And he's like, I can make you look like that or better. I'm like, perfect. Sounds good. I'm like, stuff me like a turkey. I don't care. Stuff me like a turkey, because I'm just trying to look good. I'm just trying to get my surgery and I'm trying to go home. He's like, when are you leaving to home? I'm like, I'm trying to go the 17th or the 18th. He was like, I wouldn't recommend that, because it's too soon. I recommend at least 5 days after the surgery staying here. I'm like, that's going to be hard, because my fiance has to get back to work. He's like, I know, but I really need you to stay, for the simple reason that emergency call I just took was from a patient that left way too soon. Now she's all the way in Atlanta, and she has built up fluid in her. She's starting to get fibroids in her. I don't know if I keep saying that right. She's getting fibroids in her stomach, and they're very painful to her, and nobody wants to touch her, just because it was my surgery, and nobody wants to touch another doctor's work, because they don't want to be responsible for anything that may go wrong over there. So now she has to spend more money on another plane ticket to come to Miami. So I don't want you to have to go through that, because you've already went through enough. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, that's fine. I'll just pay another $200 on my Airbnb and try to stay there a little bit longer. He's like, okay, great. So I'm just going to end up leaving Sunday. So that's like another $200 that I'm spending. And I'm not even talking about the minivan, because, man, that is just, it's expensive, guys. It's expensive. But yeah, that's another to keep in mind. If you're going and you're not local in your area, you need to, and you're going like to Miami, let's say you're in Atlanta or even Jacksonville or anywhere that you're not there, even if you're more than 2 hours away, just, guys, keep that in mind. You need to stay at least a week after your surgery, like 5 days to a week after your surgery, in order to know that there's no complications, that there's no buildup fluids, because once you go home, no doctor is going to want to touch you or be responsible for that. You're going to end up having to spend more money to come back. So just be patient and come in mind that anything can happen. Just like it happened to me, it can happen to you. As far as the whole building of New Life, I will give them like a 2 or 2.5, honestly. But for Dr. Harry and the 2 nurses that were very polite to me, I will give them a 5. And if I could give them more, I will give them more, because they were outstanding with me, like outstanding. So yeah, guys, that's what is going on. Now I'm about to, I know that I'm the first case tomorrow, so if I'm well enough to actually record a little bit, I will, but I won't make any promises. Just know that I will come up with an update, and hopefully by then I'll be snatched, and stuffed like a turkey. But yeah, guys, just wanted to give you a quick little update, and that if you are thinking about going to New Life, just do your research, and I feel like New Life is better than a lot of the other places, like Julie and what is it called, cosmetic something. like those places, no, they have horrible reviews. I mean, the only thing I've heard good from Jolie's or Julie's or whatever is Dr. Fisher. That's it. So yeah, guys, apart from that, I will see you later, and hopefully I will be snatched and looking good and delicious. But anyways, see you guys later, and see you, my darlings, and love you all. Keep with the supporting. If you haven't so, do like and subscribe, hit that bell button so you always get notifications every time I do a new upload. Bye.